transfer stream, obviously. It's just popped off now. Big to all the people who are in the chat. See Scott Carson there, Martin W, yes, one's there. Big to all Xtra Club members. Tunes still blasting. Oh yeah, we're listening. Oh, tunes are blasting. Tunes are blasting. Wow, we're banging here to tunes. Didn't realise, yo.
Eze time.
It's Eze season.
Is it Eze season, chat?
I didn't know the music was on this tab on this one. Yes, everyone. Big up. Let's start again. How are you all doing? Big up to all the people in the chat. Big up to all the Xtra Club members in the chat. If you want to get involved with the Xtra Club, the link is in the description, and we have great content coming soon. Hot Ones is just around the corner, so make sure you get yourself involved for all that. Yes, Party69 had the rise, says Matthew. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We are past 80k. We're past it now. We're on the way to 90 to /100. You know what I mean? Fuck 90. No, straight to 100. We don't need no 90. And then if you're here, like the stream, because we need to push on that. We never really push on that. Helps other people find the channel. So, breaking news. City weighing up a move for Eze, with Crystal Palace expected to demand upwards of £70 million. That's according to Jack Gorn. What are you saying, bro?
Wow. Eze. I like Eze. I think he's a good player. I think he's a very good player, and I think he's probably better than the level he's playing at. I think he's definitely capable of playing Champions League. He's definitely capable of playing for a top 6 club. Is that Manchester City? Is that someone we would want in our squad? Obviously, the Paqueta thing has fallen through completely. I saw that this morning. The deal is now completely off. Paqueta will not be coming to Manchester City, so we have to turn our attention elsewhere. Eze, I'd probably put in a similar category to Paqueta in terms of where he's at and what impact he could have on the team. He's a good ball carrier, likes a shot from range. And he'd probably be cheaper than Lucas Paqueta. I know the valuation we have on the title there, and the report says 70 million, but that's still cheaper.
Yeah.
Oh, upwards of 70 million, yeah. But I still think we'd get him for cheaper than we would have got Paqueta for.
Yeah.
Do I think he's exact same as I thought about Paqueta? Do I think Eze's worth that? No, I don't. But we have to keep reiterating, unfortunately, in today's market, that's where we're at. This is what you're now paying for these kind of players. It's what they're worth to their club. It's late in the transfer window. Crystal Palace aren't going to want to sell him, for small cash this late in the window. They will have to go and replace him. So we're going to have to overpay. For any midfielder we go and get at this stage of the window, bro, we're going to have to overpay.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be overpaying for the guy. There's no doubt about that, especially where this market's gone. And then you'd be overpaying even out of this market, because there's a week left for the transfer window. You're putting Palace in a little bit of a tricky position by robbing one of their star players. Like, I really like Eze. I think he's a mint talent. He's a mint talent. I think he'd do really well in this City side as well. I've always said Eze and Elise are ballers. I think he'd be good, man. He does bring a little bit of dancing with him as well. I mean, not sure how much of a samba he does, but he does like a little bit of a dance, so he'll bring his celebrations with him.
What's his dance, bro? Do his dance?
I don't actually. He does different things, innit? So I could do I could do whatever I wanted, and then say it's his dance. You know what I mean?
Fair.
He does the gritty. It says mine up here. Yeah, we'll get the gritty in it. We'll get the gritty out. That's what we need. If we sign him, I want on them fan cams everyone to be doing gritties. Big Steve to do a gritty. Big Steve doing a gritty bit. Elite content. I'd pay good money to see that.
I think Steve would have the right to give me a right hook to the jaw if I asked him to do a gritty on the fucking fan cams.
I mean, he'd probably say, "What are you talking about?" What's a gritty?
I mean, Doku's a gritty guy, isn't he? He likes to do the celebrations. We bring in Eze, he'll have fancy celebrations. But what are the possibilities of making this happen? What's the report? What's the tweet? I'm new to it.
It's pure Jack Gore mode, which is it's a very, very good source. It's just it's top tier source. And yeah, they're basically just saying that City are weighing up at whether they're going to go for him. He's been on City's radar for the last 6 months after senior scouts were left heavily impressed by his control of games for Crystal Palace. Goes back to what you were saying, that he's better than, not disrespectful way, but I think he should be playing at a higher level than where he's at right now at Crystal Palace. So yeah, it just all depends on what City decide to do with this, because it's cash. It's big cash, but every player is going to be big cash, and I don't know where else we go. Eze, yeah, Dani Olmo's not happening. Paqueta's not happening. Wirtz just isn't happening. You're going to have to pay €100 million for him, at least.
You kind of just have to accept that you're going to overpay. I mean, that's today's market, unfortunately. And that's contributed by loads of clubs overpaying for players. Like, we're not always going to get deals like Vardy for 10 million cheaper than we expected. We're not always going to get deals like Haaland for 51 million when he's quite clearly a 151 million pound player. We're not always going to get deals like you find Julian Alvarez out of nowhere for whatever he cost, 21 million or whatever it was, 17. Unfortunately in today's market, you're going to have to overpay for certain players, and your options are either you do overpay every now and then for players like Eze on the basis that you need quality to come in now and keep the ship, going along, ticking over, or else you don't. No one's making you buy the player, but where do you go? I mean, if you have suggestions for players that wouldn't cost an arm and a leg, that we wouldn't have to overpay for, and we could get right now, fire them in, because I'm at a dead end when it comes to that. Same. Genuinely,
it's this same names getting recycled as well. Like, so it's the same.
If you want to get a player this late in the market, this late in the window, you're going to have to overpay. If you want to get a player in this market, in the Premier League, from any of the Premier League clubs, you're going to have to overpay. If you want to go to a top German club like a Leipzig and take the likes of Dani Olmo, or you want to go and get a Wirtz off where he is, or you want to go and get one of the players off one of the top Spanish clubs, you're going to have to overpay, because these clubs aren't willing to part ways with their assets unless they're getting big cash. They also know that Manchester City and the Premier League clubs have silly cash, so they're going to overcharge us. We are simply not, in today's market, going to get a price where we go, yeah, that's fantastic, that's great. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So if we want to go and get Eze, Palace are going to put Man City tax on us. They're going to put late in the window tax on us, and that's
that's why they want more than £70 million for him. And what you got to think of, he is a good talent, Eze. I think he's got a good future, and I think he'd be mint at City. Carson with the 7 months. Yes, got Carson, mate. Says, yes, lads. Like Eze, but for 30 mil extra, would rather go after Florian Wirtz. Keep up the good work. Hot one soon come. Yes, got Carson, mate. Yeah, I see a lot of people just saying that. Just pay the extra and go get Florian Wirtz. But then there's no guarantee that the 100 million gets you Florian Wirtz, because they kind of want more than that. But I did see that with Wirtz, it's €100 million, isn't it? So it's like less. It is less, and the City are willing to full spend that £90 million that they were willing to spend on Declan Rice. So I'm kind of in the mode of, do you just spend that full £90 million? And also, did you see that Doku isn't even getting paid? It's not even a full payment. It's not the full £65 million. We're paying like the smallest part of that now. So that's even better. Yeah. Anthony Ladolfi, by the way, with a 5, says we have to skip negotiation and agreement and just pay cash. I mean, you can't, innit? You can't. You have to negotiate with the teams, because City, if you don't do that, then they'll just go, here's the price. Here's the price, and then that's it.
You know, on transfer mark is the green ball assists and the black ball is goals. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you hover over it, it does tell you. Yeah, the green ball assists. Yeah.
So, yeah, bro. Eze got 10 goals and 4 assists last season in the Premier League.
10 goals, 4 assists in 2,600 minutes. He's played all over the pitch as well. He's played left mid, left winger, so that he could push Jack Grealish if Pep wanted to put him as a left winger. He played there 6 times. He got 2 assists from that position as well. But yeah, attacking mid is his main area.
He's versatile, which is obviously box tick number 1 for Pep Guardiola's interest. But the fact that he got 10 goals last season playing for Crystal Palace, with all due respect to Crystal Palace, but 10 goals playing for them, guy's got an eye for goal. What is he? He's 25, so he's still not even old, and he can develop more as well. I'm actually quite impressed with that last season. He's had 10 goals, 4 assists, 14 GNA in 2,600 minutes. You'd think that coming to Man City, they would improve further, and better players around him. If I'm not mistaken, I know he likes a long-range shot. I saw him against Arsenal the other day. He shot from range once or twice, so he would add something. I mean, you have to think about what he's going to bring to our team that we don't already have. So we brought in Kovacic this summer, who, you know, he's a good ball player. He can control quite well, and he reads the game well. But Kovacic's biggest asset is not his goal getting. You know what I mean? He's not. As of right now, factually, he's not going to get us a lot of goals. I think he only scored something like 4 for Chelsea in his whole career. So if you're bringing in another midfielder, ideally you want it to be someone who's capable of getting himself a few goals, to balance out what Kovacic right now isn't known for bringing in. So Eze with 10 goals last season is pretty good. And I think that would surely get even better if he came to Manchester City and he got good game time.
Yeah, definitely. You'd think so anyway.
I'm here for him. Kind of a W move.
I'm here for it. It's just a lot of cash, but I'm here for it. I like it. I genuinely, I really like this deal. And I've put a poll in the chat as well, and I've put, would you pay £70 million for Eze? 57% of people have said yes. 43% of people saying no. I think that's because just that the cash is a lot. It's overpriced player, as Anukpa says there. That's very, very true. It is overpriced. But that's the market right now. We're going to spend £85 million on Paqueta, who's not an £85 million player. Every player that we go for now will 100% will be overpriced. And the closer we get to that transfer deadline day, is the less likely are that we're going to be able to get anyone in, and the cash will just keep going up. I mean, Jack Garner said, by the way, that because he's got 2 years left on his deal. So City are going to basically test Palace on that.
City need to do what they did with Paqueta, Eze needs to do what Paqueta was doing and put pressure on Crystal Palace to make this move happen. That's if Eze wants this move. I would imagine he would. You know, it's a massive opportunity for this move. Yeah, he will want it. It's a massive opportunity for him to move from Palace to Man City, the treble winners. So he needs to tell Palace, listen, I know you want your cash. I know it's late in the window, but please don't be stubborn as hell about this, because I want this move. I'm 25. This opportunity may never come again for me. It's a once in a lifetime. So I want it. But I think on the price thing, I get it. There's always people complaining about prices and how we're always laughing at other clubs for paying X and Y for so and so players. But when I really think about it, like on my own, it's not my money. You know what I mean? I don't lose sleep over if City overpaid for a player. Like I don't. It doesn't really stress me out. I understand the market. I understand if we've overpaid for a player, but I'm not going to be like, this is bad business from City because we've had to slightly overpay for a player that's worth maybe 20-30 million less than we paid for. Mm-hmm. If he's going to bring something good to our team, he's going to be exciting and he's going to improve us overall. If we overpay, it is what it is. I back Pep Guardiola to make use of him, and I back Pep Guardiola to make it a good signing regardless. So it's not my money.
End of the day, our money. Yeah, it's not our money, but also it's not our decision either. It's Pep Guardiola's decision to full send this transfer, and I trust Pep Guardiola's decision over my own when it comes to footballers. So if Pep wants him and thinks he'll do mint at City, then I'm fine for it. I trust it.
Not my money is not a dumb argument, by the way. It's just not. You like, if you think that's a dumb argument, then you clearly don't understand the market right now. The market has gone crazy. People are overpaying left, right, and center. You're going to have to overpay. I've already said, if you can find me a player who you think is within a decent price range and is worth what he's being quoted for, and he'd be good for Manchester City, throw the name in there, because I'd like to know. But as of right now, I can't think of any. Almost better. You're going to have to overpay for almost who?
Plus, I'm pretty sure he said he wants to stay at Leipzig this season. So I'm not sure you're going to get a little more. This is the thing. This is why we keep having this same arguments about this midfielder sake, is the fact that we've missed out on our targets, our main targets for this midfielder. So now we're kind of searching. The net's search far and wide for these players, but it's cash for everyone. And when City value a player at a certain price, they don't like overspending on that. So City must have felt like Declan Rice, £90 million. And then I feel like, obviously, the Declan Rice thing is a bit different. I feel like we walked away from that because his head was at Arsenal. I think we was clearly happy to pay £85 million for Paqueta, so we thought that'd be a great deal for us. And if City think he's worth, if City are weighing up a £70 million move for Eze, then they value him at that. So
I mean, I'm not going to call it overpaying if Pep Guardiola sanctions it. If Pep Guardiola says, I want Eze, and paying 75 million for him is worth it for me, and he says that, it's worth it for me. It's worth it for me. If Pep wants him, I've said this throughout the whole window, if Pep wants him, go and get him. Even if us as a community, as a fan base, think because of what we saw of him at Crystal Palace isn't worth what Pep or what Crystal Palace is saying he's worth. I don't care. If Pep wants him, go and get him, because Pep will turn him into a £75 million player. I believe that. If Pep wants him, Pep sees something in him, and he'll turn him into that kind of player. Like, you have to think about it. Like, what are you going to get of him? Is he going to be worth that? I would think so.
Chad, listen, it's not Pep who says it's Tiki. It's not. Tiki doesn't make our transfers. Pep is fully involved in our transfers. He does make our transfers. That's the wrong wording. They speak together about transfers. So they'll present a list to Pep. Pep will choose which ones that he wants. Basically, he'll say, I want this, I want this. They all work together in a sense, which is good, which is why our football club's running a good way, in the sense that it's not our board just signing the players and throwing players at Pep and saying, you deal with this, you deal with this. Pep has a say in the players that we go and get.
Well, that's why he's probably stuck around so long. You see fractured relationships between owners and managers all the time, because even look at Chelsea right now. Todd Bowley's quite clearly just buying players, throwing them at the manager, saying, this is your guy now, make it work. Whereas Pep clearly has a massive influence on our scouting, on our transfer strategy, and that's going to make a manager feel better.
The board want to know what players Pep want to go and get. Now, they'll suggest players to Pep, and Pep will be like, sometimes like, probably a bit like, but then obviously they'll have conversations, they'll have meetings about this and taking the board, and it'll be like, yeah, but there's no one really available. If Pep likes a player, they might be like, look, he's well too overpriced, so we're going to have to go for someone else. What about this guy? Like, that's just the way it is at the moment. Off Meta Professor with a 5 says, as long as this transfer doesn't stop us from signing Wirtz next season, e.g. like getting Ake before we sign Gvardiol. Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of people saying about going for Florian Wirtz next year. And also, Paul Gray in the chat before said, if you want to get Olmo or Wirtz this summer, you won't get Olmo or Wirtz this summer. It's best to try next year when Bernardo Silva might be leaving, because there are rumours that Bernardo Silva's got a release clause in his contract for next season. Like I say, if Bernardo does end up leaving next year, then yeah, go get your Wirtz or your Olmo. Like, but right now we need an attacking player, and unless City just try and skip ahead and just say, you know what, right, we're just gonna full send Florian Wirtz instead of spending this £70 million on Eze. Let's just full send 100 million on Wirtz.
And you're overpaying. He's not a £100 million player.
Yeah, I think it's 86 mil. I think it is, or like 100 million euros, whatever it is. Just full send that. You will overpay. We'll probably overpay. We'll overpay in 2024 if we go for him, because he'll probably smash it at the Euros, and then his price will go up. So, like I say, it is.
You're gonna have to overpay for anyone. Like, you're not gonna get the fee you want, which is why I understand it, and I'm okay with overpaying, and I don't lose sleep over it, because if we have to overpay for someone that Pep Guardiola wants, I'm fine with it. I really am fine with it. Like, it doesn't hurt me deep down. Like I said, I'm not paying for it, and I'm happy Pep is getting the player that he wants. So, like, the fact we shouldn't be put off by overpaying. It's just today's market. And you think of all the money we've made as well, the sales we've made, the net spend profit we've been in for multiple years now. We have the facilities to slightly overpay for a few players on the basis that Pep Guardiola really wants that player. It's not going to break our bank.
I feel like there's loads of people who don't want this transfer, this Eze transfer, and I can understand. I look at the chat. I can understand, because it's a lot of cash. But I guess it goes back to the fact of, ain't our money, and I trust what Pep wants to do with that money. Pep and the board, if they're going, yeah, Eze's the man, then Eze is the man at the time. Like that's it. Like, Wirtz obviously is sick. Yeah, he's sick. I'd like it if we could still go and get him, like off Meta Professors there. They said I'd like it if it didn't hold up a transfer for next season. But I like Eze. I do think he's been Eze and Elise. I've liked both of them since they've been at Palace. So I think it'd be a good sign. I think he'd do well at City.
I think Eze would do well at City. I think he's proved he's capable of playing at a higher level. And being coached by Pep Guardiola and playing with better players around him, Eze will get even better again. Like, you have to factor in the variables. Like, you're overpaying for a player based on what they are right now, but what can they become under Pep Guardiola? Will he live up to his valuation of 75 million if he comes to Man City? I think he would. He's not worth that right now. I fully agree with you. But can he become that? Absolutely. The same way, I mean, what do we pay for Rodri? What was it? 60 million at the time? 50, 60 million at the time? Now Rodri's priceless. You could put 150 million on Rodri's head and say it's well worth that. Players will appreciate. So you have to factor in all these things. You're going to overpay for players who are the best at their club, because that's what they're worth at their club.
I think I back it, me. I back it. If this is the Donny that City want to go and get, I back it. I have nothing against us going and getting Eze. I think it is what it is, and we clearly. I think City would have inquired about the other players, and they've probably would have been pushed back and said, like, look, not happening. Like, Leverkusen not wanting to sell Wirtz, Olmo not happening. I think this is probably the one, isn't it? Out of, like, someone asked before in the chat and I didn't reply to it. I forgot to reply because I was meant to. What do you think the possibility is of this happening? I think there's a genuinely big possibility of this being our man. On the basis that I feel like City will probably feel like they can get this deal done. I feel like they'll deal with Palace. I feel like they'll get it for a price around 70 to 80 million pounds, which is a lot of cash. I mean, if they could get it less than that, it'd be sick. But realistic wise, I just don't see us getting anyone else.
He's their main man in midfield, Eze. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's their guy in midfield, so they're not going to want to part ways with that. I know, trust me, I know he's not worth that, but they're not going to want to part ways with their main midfield anchor this late in the window unless they're getting a fee that makes them go, yeah, we have to accept that. If we go in and realistically offer Palace what he's actually worth, which is what would you say he's actually worth? 40 to 50?
Yeah, he's not. He's not a 70 to 80 million pound player.
Even if we go and offer them 50 million, they'll go, we get why you're valuing him at 50 million, but to us, he's not worth 50 million. If we lose him right now, it's not worth our while for 50 million. We need to make it worth Palace's while to lose their main man for at this stage in the window. And it's partly our own doing, the fact that we've left it so late in the window to do this. If we had have gone for Eze earlier in the window, we might have got him for possibly cheaper, or we might be able to negotiate for possibly cheaper. But the timing of the whole situation has meant that it's semi-panic stations. You're going to have to start paying things that you wouldn't have paid 2 months ago. But
the issue with that is he was nowhere near our number one target, innit? So that's why it's left so late. City are basically, after the Paqueta deal, they are just sending the net out and having a look. They're just looking about at anyone who's available because City want to get someone in before the transfer window ends. So yeah, we might end up overpaying for him, and I feel like obviously we will end up overpaying for him if we do go get him. And I do think Eze is the man. So I think you've got to just back it. You just got to back it.
You've just got to get behind it. In this era of Pep Guardiola as the Man City manager, you have to just get behind everything he wants because he's given us no reason to not.
Well, the only one, like I always say about I trust the board and that to get these signings in and that. But Phillips is the only one that's really just not worked. Where I've said yeah back it because it's chill, but I trust the board to go get him in. But clearly Phillips didn't get it right, and I don't want this to be another Phillips situation. I don't want Eze to come in and just never play football for us, and he's just not at the level. But that's the risk.
Well, that's something that we can't
control that. Yeah, you just got to back it and hope he does the best. Like the Phillips deal, I backed that from the off and was like, hopefully he smashes it.
But when we sign a player, we have to just assume Pep has a plan for him, and he's going to be at least an important part of our squad and what we're doing this season. We can't foresee a Calvin Phillips situation arising every time we go and buy a player from another Premier League club. So you just have to get behind it. If Pep wants him, I want him. That's just kind of where I'm at. And then we'll see what happens when he comes through the door and how much football he plays and and what kind of role he plays in the squad. So
The I've seen people in the chat. Someone in the chat before said Eze is not a midfielder. He's a winger. He played 6 times, or no, he played 8 times if you're counting left mid and left wing. He played 8 times as a winger last season, and he played 23 times as a midfielder. So I think it's fair to say full midfielder mode. Yeah, plays in the midfield. But like I say, it is what it is. This is where we find ourselves.
Eze's stats are much better than Wirtz as well, by the way. I know he's played a lot more football, but Eze's playing in the Premier League as well. Wirtz is playing in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, that's something that City will be weighing up as well. The fact that he is a Premier League player.
I mean, last season, Wirtz got 1 goal and 6 assists. Granted, he had quite a few injury issues. He only played like 1,000 odd minutes, but Eze getting 10 goals in the Premier League, he's Prem proven. There's a lot to be said for that, and you're going to overpay for Premier League players. So, would you rather overpay for a Premier League player who has stats, or would you rather overpay for a Bundesliga player? I mean, I'm not saying I'd choose one or the other specifically, but it's something that you have to think of.
But then at the same time, people will be saying that Wirtz has a higher ceiling, a lot younger.
Yeah, he may do. He may do.
So that's the way that people will be looking at it.
I like Wirtz. I do like Florian Wirtz a lot. I've seen him. I think he's a really good player. I'm weighing up both players here. I think they both come with pros. I think they both come and they could both offer something to the team. But you can't just shut down Eze because Wirtz is a sexier name playing in the Bundesliga, and he's coming from abroad. Eze's Prem proven, and he's done a really good job in the Premier League so far. So I wouldn't shut him down.
Off by Professor with a 5 says, I think Eze feels like a depth signing, whilst Wirtz would feel like a generational signing. I think Wirtz worth 100 million. His passing range is levels. That's what people go for, man. And this is why I was like, if you're gonna pay all this money, why not pay an extra certain for the big Donnies? Do you know what I mean? The big names out there. Because at the end of the day, if it's going to cost upwards of £70 million for Eze, then why not pay just like an extra £20 million or £30 million for Wirtz? Like, why not just sanction that extra 30 million? Go get, like he said there, a generational side with a lot more of a ceiling.
Is Wirtz generational?
I mean, that's what Off-Meta Professor there saying.
He doesn't look. He's not generational Wirtz right now. He's not. I'll tell you that.
No, but not right now. But then he has the ceiling to become a beast. So that's what people are saying.
Maybe.
We're deluded if we think we're getting Wirtz. That's the only thing that I keep saying. The delusion of getting Wirtz, it seems to ring true. Like, I just feel like we're not going to do it. I feel like City have looked at that and gone, nah, or else we would have had so much more. We would have had so much more links to it. And we don't have any links to Wirtz. We had one the other day, and that was it. This is the only concrete thing that we've got right now on midfielder mode is Eze, and that's coming from your tier 0 source. And we're at a position right now where the City haven't even offered anything to Crystal Palace, but they're just entertaining the idea of signing him. And it's a very mixed response from the chat, whether people want him or not.
You're always like I enjoy these streams because you're always going to have people agreeing and disagreeing at this stage of the window. You know, we all want a midfielder, but it's so hard to agree on what's the right one and what's the right price, and who would suit us better. I like Wirtz. I like Eze. I think they'd both come and offer us something great. Wirtz probably does have a higher ceiling than Eze. I think Wirtz is a good bit younger as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Wirtz like 21 or something.
Wirtz is 20, yeah. Wirtz is 20, and Eze is 25. So if Wirtz is going to cost, what did you say, 100 million euro?
Yeah, so 86 million pounds. Someone said, as Ohib said in the chat before.
Do you want to pay 86 million pounds for a 20-year-old?
Yeah, basically.
There you go. By the way, I'm not saying I don't. I'm just asking, like, these are the questions that, you know.
Yeah, well, that's it. I trust the club to do what they're doing. If it's Eze that we go for, it's Eze that we go for. At the moment, it's just an inquiry from City to see what's going on, but it is definitely happening from City's end that they are looking at the possibility of this signing. So clearly, the board like the idea. Dynamo Julius Craig there says, if Mason Mount's worth 60, then Eze is worth 70.
That's the market. This is the main point of what I'm saying. The whole stream. The market is fucked-oed.
Yeah, the market's an absolute mess. So you're gonna overpay for absolutely anyone that you go for.
I trust me, chat. I know you're not happy with a lot of what I'm saying right now. Trust me, I know. But the thing is, I know Eze's not worth what we're gonna pay for him if we do go for him. I know that, but the market is absolutely screwed. Like that's a fantastic reference. Mason Mount going for 65. Eze's worth more than Mason Mount. I'll tell you that now, he is. So you're gonna have to pay more for him.
Something that as well, we're going off this price of Wirtz, by the way, as 100 million. However, that's just like the baseline 100 million. Like Mad Hatter there completely agrees. Says City already said they're not paying 86 million pound for Wirtz, and Bayer Leverkusen wants more than 100 million anyway. And that's the key part. The key part of that is they want more than 100 million for him. So we've just kind of baselined it as 100 million pound that they'll take. But the thing that I said, they're saying they want more than 100 million pounds, so we don't actually know. It could be a lot more expensive than that. It could be a lot more expensive than 100 million euros for Wirtz. We don't know.
Well, if he's deemed as someone with a really, really high ceiling, you're probably gonna have to pay more for him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So City could have just looked at that. They've gone a minimum 100 million euro. Well, do you know what I mean? 100 million euro and we'll talk. Then City might have just gone, nah, we're not going to do that. So, yeah, we're going for Eze instead. I do think, part of that, we missed a bullet in Maddison. I really wanted us to sign Maddison. I think that would have been the perfect signing for City. 50 million pound he went for, then something like that. 50 million pound. Maddison, it would have been next level for City. That would have been next level for City, and you're getting the attacking side of it that Kovacic obviously doesn't bring. MCFC on top says Kova was such a bargain in this market. Completely agree, mate. Brand Hot with a 5 says, why is there no faith in the club? They're professionals. They know what they're doing. They must see something they like. That's good enough for me. That's also good enough for me. That is good enough for me. If Pep and the board look at Eze and go, yeah, we'll get him, like it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not asked about valuations if Pep wants him. If Pep and the club want him, go get him. give the winning manager what he needs to keep winning. Mm-hmm. Pep knows what he's at. Back him. Trust him. There's no reason not to.
Yeah. And then obviously we've only got a week left, so we don't really have the luxury of time on our side to be able to like dip about and start like messing about. We need to get these deals done as soon as possible. And I think the board generally will be looking at getting a deal for a player done in the next like couple of days, man. They'll be looking to basically hone it in on one player for the next couple of days. Like, and I think it could be Eze. Jack Gorn coming out and saying it is big. Jack Gorn coming out and saying that is big because it means that's basically your man. So it's Eze. It's gonna be Eze. It's gonna be Eze. I've seen people saying about going getting Paqueta in January. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I mean, Darsh has a great message here. Hugh JP, when Mount is going for 60 million and 65 for Havertz, it makes Eze look like a bargain if you think about it. Eze is better than both those players. He's better than Havertz and Mount. If they're going for 60 and 65, Crystal Palace have every right to ask for 70 odd for Eze. It's the exact same way we said about Bernardo Silva. If Declan Rice is going for 105, we have every right to ask for 120, 130 for Bernardo Silva, and that's why City shut it down. Remember at the beginning of August, City said, we're not listening to any more offers unless someone comes and blows our mind with a big offer. Bernardo ain't going nowhere. They took influence from the Declan Rice transfer, so you're going to look at the rest of the market and see who's going for what. Is the player that you're going for better than what other players have gone for? It's better than Mount and Havertz. Hate to break it to you, United and Arsenal fans.
Palace would look at the situation and just say, look at the market now. That's why he's got instantly a £70 million price tag on it before we've even started negotiations yet. So that's why it's cash. The market's just a mess. Patrick Holly says, Eze likes Sunday morning. Eze likes Sunday morning. That'd be pretty sick. Yeah. This is it,
Just
man.
South Stand would love that song.
Yeah, you're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear that at a game.
Hey, Alvin's in the chat, bro.
Yeah, no, I've seen him, innit? Seen him. He's asking if you're hungover on Sunday.
No.
Nah, chilling.
Nah, I'd say you were though, Calvin.
Oh, I'd say in fact I know he was. I know he was. Right then, yeah, Eze's your man for now until we hear anything else, or until this gets shut down, or until they find out that Eze's been betting on yellow cards. This is where we're going to be heading for the next week. So news will. I think this will move fast, just like Paqueta did. Paqueta went rapid. It went from nothing to full send. I think this will be the exact same. I think
We'll get Eze. I think we'll get Eze. Do you want to hear a funny one, bro?
I do.
This morning when Sky Sports announced that the Paqueta to Man City deal was off, I had like 10, 15 Liverpool fans in my DMs being like, Paqueta rejected you. Don't be talking about our pulling power. You got no pulling power. I was like, you do know he's allegedly in a betting scandal. You know, like there's the whole betting thing. Don't be talking about pulling power. He didn't reject us.
Man. Jeez. You don't get it, man, innit? People need to read before they start throwing out these kind of things.
They saw the headline. They saw
the headline, and then
he must have rejected City.
That's yeah. I was about Dash. Yeah, it's because they're sensitive at the moment because they got rejected for their players. However, someone did mention it in the chat before. They did get Szoboszlai, and I think he's a really good player. I think that'll be great. That
he is good, Szoboszlai. Yeah.
Calvin, Jordan has pulling power. Let's not start with any of that.
Oh, it's story time.
No. You're just saying about pulling power, innit? We're not starting with that.
Oh, well, we know what he means. We know what he means.
It's the 69 shirt, bro. It's a 69 shirt.
Oh, hey,
I love how he's. It's a 69 shirt. Time to end the stream. It's time to end. Yeah. It's the 69, the JP 69 Riz, isn't it? Hugh told you yesterday. They were queued up at the door.
Flocks of women.
Heard
Of women at the door. Once they heard he has that jersey. Turn around, show us it again. You have to keep showing it off.
I have to keep... What? Hang on. I can't get it like... Yeah. Is that right?
Ah, go on, lad. Porty 69.
That was super loud in my ears. That.
Super loud to my PC.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that. That's your Eze news. Good to have a little chat about midfielders and that. Nice little half an hour to 40-minute stream. Big up to everyone. Hopefully City do move forward our midfielder. Let's see if it is Eze. I back it. I think we both back it. I think it'll be a good deal. Well, not a good deal. I think we're overpaying definitely, but I think he'll do well at City. I think he's an exciting player, so I think it'd be sick. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Big up to all the people who super chatted. Make sure you like the stream. If you're watching this on the replay, let us know in the comments what you're saying, Eze or no Eze. Because £70 million is a lot of money, and I think that's what's putting people off quite a bit. But the market's in the shitter. You're one of the people who are going to say, the deadline day is next week, just go and get him. Because I'm a guy who's just like, yeah, just go and get him. I mean, just go do it. Big up to everyone in the chat. If you haven't already, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're going to 100k soon. We need that plaque, and we'll see you as soon as more Eze news pops. See you in a bit.